Hey folks, Wish SE. I wanted to give some thoughts on what may be a switch by the Naval Special Warfare Group, the Navy SEALs, from their issued sidearm to this point, which has been the SIG 226. Certainly a real winner. Double action pistol, single action, no external safety, decocker, well known, very well known for durability and performance, and getting heavy steel slide, a lot of weight to it. Weighs about 2 pounds unloaded. There's been a lot of chatter on the internet lately about some statements that apparently certain groups within Naval Special Warfare will have the option, or at least considering the option, of the Glock 19. And in this case, what they're talking about is the Glock 19, the Gen 3 version. I don't have a Gen 3 version at this point right now in my safe. What I do have is a Gen 4 and a Gen 2 version. So people might be saying, oh gosh, why Glocks? And I know there's a lot of people out there that for whatever reason, they just don't like Glocks. And I think it's an emotional reaction. I look at all of these as tools, and the Glock to me is sort of the AK-47 of the fighting pistol world. So they've been around since the 80s. They've been used by police forces, by military groups throughout the world. Certainly a lot of special forces that have the ability to choose what guns that they carry, particularly in a personal protective detail, may occasionally, and if you look around and you go and just look at some of the various photos out there, special warfare guys, a lot of them are carrying Glock 19s. So the question is why? Why wouldn't you carry this or an M9? Why the Glock? And I wanted to share some subjective thoughts around why I think that this tool is looked at by special warriors as something that has some advantages. So the first one is its straight out inherent weight differential. So the SIG with an unloaded magazine is about 2 pounds, okay? And that's great, fine. The Glock unloaded is about 1.5 pounds. Now people say, shit, so 25% difference in weight, is it really making a big difference? And for the guys that are out there doing the job, it's a huge difference. This is generally their secondary armament. So they've got a primary weapon, a long gun of some sort, a shotgun, something like that, and then they've got a handgun, their secondary weapon. So weight becomes a real factor, particularly on missions where aside from ammo and guns, really what they've got to hump is water. Water is the #1 challenge in terms of some of the climates and areas that people have to operate on. And if you don't have water, no matter how good your gear is, it's pretty hard to go out there and fight. Other advantages: 15 round capacity, actually 15 plus 1. So I have a capacity that's identical in size to the SIG, right? And yet I have a slightly smaller gun, both in terms of the barrel length and in terms of the slide length, and we'll show you some photographs of that in just a minute. What you'll note is, because of that slight differential in size, now I have a firearm that works as a great sidearm, a secondary a weapon that is also concealable if the needs change. And while yes, you can conceal this handgun, you absolutely can, the weight differential, again that 25% weight differential, and just picking them up I can feel it, and the fact that I've got a much smaller, a mid-size gun that can still do the job, that's an awful lot to be said for it. The next thing is its utilitarian aspect and very, very few parts. Anyone can work on a Glock. All you need is a punch. Pin punch. You don't have roll pins. You don't have a lot of special little teeny screws. It's simple, simple, simple design. And it's one of those designs that I've shot, I don't know, this is a Gen 2 version, and I've shot 40, 50,000 rounds through this gun, and it's absolutely still running great. Replaced recoil springs, plastic recoil springs, but other than that, same stuff, right? Absolutely incredibly durable. So we have a simplicity issue in terms of fewer parts and easier parts to work on. And we also have a durability quotient that has been proven, from everybody, from Chuck Taylor, who's got, I don't know, 150,000, 200,000 rounds through his Glock 17, his Gen 2 Glock 17, and all kinds of other folks have done torture tests. The average civilian is not going to beat on a gun enough to really cause it to fail. However, guys out there in military environments, especially special ops guys, who these tools may make a difference between them getting home or not, really have to have something that's reliable. So, is this gun reliable? Absolutely. Is it a great pistol? Absolutely. I own a SIG, so all you SIG guys don't get all upset. However, there is a tremendous advantage to getting a gun that's just slightly smaller, a mid-sized handgun that is incredibly durable and allows the simplicity of use. To me, one of the best things about striker-fired guns is consistent trigger press on every time that you're working the trigger. So it's it's a what's called a safe action, but I press, trigger resets, it's exactly the same every single time. So the training curve to get really proficient on this gun is really short, in my opinion, and we've seen it with our classes when people come and they shoot double action to single action guns. Am I knocking a double action gun? Absolutely not. Depending on your mission, you may want to have a loaded chamber, right? And then you want that really long double action pull, right? So with the SIG, and this gun has had trigger work done on it, so it has a very smooth double action. It's awesome. My friends at BG Gunworks did this trigger job for me. So really consistent. It's really nice. It's a great double action trigger, but it's had work on it. In single action mode, so I transitioned from the double action to the single. Now the single action, in this gun I've got the short reset, so it's got a very short reset, and it's great. It's absolutely fabulous. But I have to work to transition from double action, right, to single action, and I have to do that to the point where I can easily keep the double action shot as consistent as the single action shot. Some people say, well, it shouldn't matter. To me it matters. So I am by no means, way, shape, or form any kind of warrior. I have great respect for the people that actually go out there and do it. And most of those guys shoot so much they can shoot whatever is given to them. But the very fact that they're saying that some of their units are saying this pistol is really what we want, it provides us the best balance between size, capability, capacity, all that kind of stuff. And this gun, right, we can run extended mags through it. Again, the nice thing about the Glock 19 is I can use a Glock 17 magazine or extension on it, so I can carry a couple of these additional mags and still have this, and I've upped my capacity, 4 or 5 rounds, and that can really make a difference. So, once again, why would Naval Special Warfare be looking at something different? Well, you know what? Their guys are the high end of the high end. And basically they can run whatever gear they want. Sure, there are restrictions within a certain group in terms of what they can pull from their armory itself, but if they want, and if Glocks are going to become available, I guarantee you an awful lot of guys will be using a Glock 19. Interesting, a couple of SEAL instructors out there now, Kyle DeFore and Jeff Gonzalez. I've seen them, and both of them shoot Glock 19s. Larry Vickers, Glock 19. Doesn't mean Larry Vickers won't shoot a 1911 or everything else, but those guys Glock 19. Ken Hackathorn, Glock 19. Now he's a 1911 guy, but guess what? Glock 19. So there are all these people out there who instruct and train and are using Glock 19s because, again, it's that great size pistol. It's lightweight, it's durable, it's easy to shoot, and it's easy to shoot, in my opinion, very well, and faster to learn than a double to single action type of pistol. So, in summary, guys, I think that it'll be interesting to see whether or not this is just internet chatter. I do know some folks in formerly in special operations groups, and all of those guys think extremely highly of this, and when I've asked them, they've said, yeah, great pistol, absolutely. If we have a choice, and especially if we're doing something that requires some sort of covert carry, this is the gun that they go to again and again and again. Am I knocking Sig? Absolutely not, so don't get all upset. But it is interesting, and again, I've been shooting polymer-framed pistols for years, Glocks, Smith & Wessons, and I really have had phenomenal success with them. Some people don't like the grip angle of the Glock. So for those of you folks not in the military, one of the things that you can do is have a grip reduction. This is a grip reduction by BG Gunworks. And I'll tell you, this now fits my hand better than any other gun that I own. We'll see if it holds up okay. We're going to shoot it a lot and see if it's durable. But again, these polymer frame guns, at least the ones I have, in this case this one's 40,000, 50,000 rounds, no problem, it's still running strong. And this is a Gen 2 version. So they feel pretty comfortable in my hands. The bottom line is the SEALs, you know, the DevGru guys or CAG guys, any of those folks, they're shooting hundreds of thousands of rounds. So it really doesn't matter whether it's this or this. They're gonna be shooters, right? These guys can frickin' shoot, and that's because they practice a lot. But if given a choice for weight savings, and they can go to a gun that has the same capacity as this, be slightly smaller and slightly lighter in weight, right? That half a pound can mean another, you know, chunk of water that they're carrying with them, and that can make all the difference in the world in their ability to actually take the fight to the enemy. So guys, sorry for the long-winded, rambling version on Glock 19 and whether or not the NSW guys are going with this. It looks like they are. We'll find out more over time. I do not expect the military in general, the overall military group, the United States, USA, to go to a striker-fired gun. For the average guy out there, they don't give them that much firearms training, and they're really concerned with having a double-action gun to prevent unintentional firing events. Well, to me, that's unintentional firing event is really a training issue, but if you're not training enough with live ammunition and just having someone ride you about finger straight, on target, on trigger, off target, off trigger, it's very likely you're going to have some of those events. However, for our Special Forces guys, they are using this gun. So for you Glock haters out there, sorry. It's a fact. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate all of you. We've had great growth, and that's because of you. I know there are a lot of other channels out there to watch, and we do appreciate your support. Finally, and as always, stay safe.